Hey, everybody, guess what? We're live with Shawn Parr, who actually lives in Franklin, which I just figured out not too long ago. So excited. Shawn is a radio, I guess you call host. DJs is kind of out of style, right? You don't say that anymore, right?
Insert title here. I'll take anything. DJ, host, radio personality,
There you
auctioneer, you name it, I'll do it.
I think there's a couple of things I want to talk about. For all my friends who watch all these award shows, you're the voice of the Golden Globes. That one I think is really cool. Also, a couple other music shows, American Music Award, and what's the other one?
The Academy of Country Music Awards on CBS.
See, look at that.
It just happens when you start talking about award shows. Blah! It just all of a sudden it's like, let's go to the red carpet at the Golden Globes on NBC. And welcome the amazing Donna. I'm also available to do your voicemail.
Okay, see, I need that. Since you're in Franklin, I'm just going to stop by and I'm going to be like, here, could you fix up my voicemail? We need a voiceover for this. Like, hey, we're going live. There you go. We can credit
Everyone's
you.
just checked in from across the country. Let's go live. Donna, take it away.
I know. I need it. I need that. How cool would that be? So tell me how you got into that. I'm so curious. We've got a lot of things to talk about, but that is like, how did you do that?
You know, it's funny. You've heard the term Cinderella Story, and I truly am the American dream, the Cinderella Story. I'm the kid, Donna, who grew up thinking I was going to be a professional golfer. That's what, I wanted to be an actor. My cousin is Tina Yothers from the television show Family Ties. You might remember with Michael J. Fox years ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so I would go visit the set and the Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley. I was a kid. They were filming next door. And I'd go hang out and got a chance to see how it all worked. And I wanted to be an actor. And then I thought, well, as I got older, I understood the competition and all the wonderful, crazy things you have to do to become that. And so I thought, golf, I just love this game. And I happen to be pretty good at it. And I thought that was my path. And I was a club DJ working in Orange County, California. At night, I would play golf every single day. So I'd work till 2 o'clock in the morning, get up at 7 o'clock, go to the golf course, play all day, go back to work. And I was a club DJ where we played country music 3 nights a week and top 40 2 nights a week. So I could play anything.
Wow.
I could dance. I line danced. I top line danced. And then I would turn around and do the, Janet Jackson, Madonna, Michael Jackson, what a Prince, and just get out there and get crazy with it. And then I just got this. We did all the radio station parties for the big stations in LA. It was like Kiss FM and KIQQ at the time and all these stations. And this little station, country station, came in and said, hey, can you do this show on the air? And I said, what show? And he said, do this, what you're doing. And I said, it's just me. He said, well, we want to hire you to be a radio DJ. And I was like 20 years old, on the radio? Me? Are you? Yes. So I worked until midnight, and I had a buddy of mine take over for me for 2 hours, really an hour and a half. And then I would go to the station, which was right down the street in the shopping center. And I was a DJ. And this is basically how my career started. We had the same board as we had in the nightclub. We had a huge nightclub in Orange County called the Bandstand, which later became the Cowboy after the whole urban cowboy thing kicked in. And then, I just went in, and the overnight guy would just go to sleep over in the corner table, and he said, take over. So that was my training, and I just faked it. And so I did. I was a DJ, and then they hired me to work overnights 1 night a week. And then the owner called me and said, look, I like your voice. I'm going to put you on during the middle of the day. And I did middays for a couple of months. And then I started getting invited to play all these charity golf tournaments because I knew how to play golf and I was kind of a good golfer. So they wanted, a good guy to come out and play. And I just started supporting all these different charities and thought, if I, Donna, could get on the Academy of Country Music's golf tournament committee, Dick Clark's guys were on that committee.
Oh.
And I would be discovered. And it was honestly a fantasy. It was a fantasy. but that's what I did. I put myself on the committee. I signed up, went to LA once a week. I drove to Hollywood, and we had the meetings, and then we had the big tournament, and I got to they invited me to play as a celebrity because I was on the radio.
Nice.
Yeah, and they put me with our big corporate sponsor team. And next thing you know, the auctioneer doesn't show up at the dinner. There's 600 people at the dinner.
Oh, wow.
And I said, well, I'll do it. You know, I'd done a few auctions before. And they said, okay. They had this guitar that was signed by everybody that was there. All the country celebrities were there that day. He said, we have a one-of-a-kind guitar. We want you to start it. Usually goes for about $1,000. I thought they said start it at $1,000. So I started. Who, we got this one-of-a-kind guitar. Who, give me $1,000? Give me $1,000, make $1,500, $2,000. And these guys are like, what are you doing? Next thing you know, we're at $4,000. These guys get in a bidding war.
Wow.
And I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you $500 if you go to $4,500. Bam, he goes to $500. Next guy stands back up, $5,500. The other guy comes back in, $6,000. The place is going nuts. $6,500. I jump on a table. And I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you, Willie Nelson is playing tonight. He's the host of the golf tournament. I will give you an opportunity to sit on stage while Willie plays this guitar and sings a song just for you. $7,000. And we sold it for $7,000.
Wow.
The place goes nuts. Well, the two guys that were running it were Gene Weed and Bill Boyd, who were the head of Dick Clark Productions at the time. And 2 weeks later, I got the call. Hey, it's Bill Boyd. I want to hire your butt. Those were his exact words. And I'm like, for what? And he said, I want you to be the warm-up guy for a show we're doing on NBC called Hot Country Nights. And I said, what's a warm-up guy? And he said, don't worry about it. My assistant will handle everything. I need you at NBC. And I was making $6 an hour doing a radio station in Orange County, California. And he was going to pay me $500 a night. He needed me for 2 nights. And I'm like, I'm in. And that's how I started.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, are you kidding? We did it for 8 weeks. And the story of meeting Dick Clark the very first night I was there is a dream come true. And from the very first time I met Dick Clark that night, he introduced me as it's just the most incredible story of, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing. Next thing you know, here come the two guys that I knew. They take me down the steps. We go on stage, and standing at the bottom of the stairs is a stage manager who hands me a microphone, the head of RCA Records at the time, and Dick Clark.
Wow.
And he says, Shawn, all right, first of all, Dick Clark knew my name. I was like, what am I doing here? How did I end up here? Dick Clark knows my name. Be cool, be cool, be cool. Hey, what's that radio station you work for? So I told him, wrote it down. He goes, all right, I'm going to introduce you. You go out and do 10 minutes. And I'm like, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what a warm-up guy was. And so I'm thinking, 10 minutes of what? And great, sure. And he goes, then just introduce me. Don't make it a big deal. Just say America's oldest living teenager, Dick Clark. So I'm like, okay.
So he wanted that to be his tagline, Americans.
That's it. And it always was. When you introduced Dick Clark, you introduced him formally as, and now please welcome America's oldest living teenager, Dick Clark. So I went out there and I faked it. I just welcomed everybody, had a ball, created this energy, got everybody fired up. It's like 400 people there. Reba's on the show that night, Alabama, this new guy named Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw.
And next thing you know, I'm a warm-up guy for a television show with Dick Clark Productions. And at the end of 8 weeks, he said, I want you to be the warm-up guy for a show we're doing across the street at Universal Amphitheater called the Academy of Country Music Awards. And I knew it very well. And so next thing I know, that's how I got started with Dick Clark.
Wow.
And he made me the voice guy after that. I've been doing the voice of my 28th year coming up on the Golden Globes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been an incredible story.
I love that. It's always fun for me. I always watch the credits because, you know, I don't know if people realize there's a lot of people in this area that you can see their names on the credits. So I like it when it rolls and then it says voiced by, and then you see Shawn Parr. And I'm like, I know him.
I, to this day, am like a little kid. I get so nervous every time I do it And at the end, I do the same thing. I'm like, is it there? There it is. Ah, it's so what a blessing and what a thrill. And again, I just talking about it, I get so excited. And people say, but you've been doing it a long time. How do you still get nervous? It's like there's 50 million people watching the Golden Globes every time you open up the microphone. Brought to you by Clairol, because you're worth it. I'm not sure why I'm holding my ear. It just makes it sound better.
I love that. It's so fascinating that you're part of all those things, which is kind of, I feel like, a big part of our like culture, but people may not realize that you've also, you also did something. Let's go back a little bit. This is kind of a small town thing. You hosted Pumpkin Fest, a little stage this last year.
Oh my gosh. I love Pumpkin Fest so much. Listen, if there is anybody in this town that has never been to Pumpkin Fest, first of all, I didn't know I was part of a chili cook-off with the downtown Franklin Rotary.
Yes.
And yeah, and we had great meetings, great people, and we were out there raising money for a great cause. And they asked if I would come, and the host didn't show up, I guess, from one of the local news stations. Could I host the costume contest?
Yes, I was
And
there.
I was like, sure. I thought it was just a couple of people, a couple of costumes. It was like 300 contestants. It took almost 2 hours, and I had to vamp the whole time in between, and it was the greatest time. And there were 10,000 people there. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you remember any of those? I have a couple of pictures I took. I love the roller coaster, the Dollywood roller coaster. Do you remember those little girls who did that?
Yes. And who was it? The kid, there was the mouse trap. And they
Yes.
put a wagon, and they put a flat piece of wood over it, cut out a circle, and then put this metal piece on there, and put the baby in the middle of the circle, and it looked in a mouse costume, and it was brilliant. And I thought they should have won, but they didn't. But who cares? They were my favorite.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. There was a whole.
Thank you for bringing that up, by the way, Donna. That was that's what I love about this town is, the greatest thing about Franklin is it's such a small town feel. I mean, we're a big city.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of people here, but it's just such a small town feel. I love everything about it. I love that we close it down for the Dickens family Christmas, and we get the carolers around downtown, around the square. And, every time there's a big event, it seems like we get to close the city down and do something fun.
Yeah. Yeah. You think you'll be back? Have they invited you to come back?
I was back for the second year this last year.
Yeah.
And if they do it again, listen, as long as they'll have me, I am there. I love the Pumpkin Fest. And last year, if you remember, the winds came up in the early afternoon. They actually had to shut us down because we had straight line winds come through. Again, being from Los Angeles, the fact that I could say we had some straight line winds coming through, Donna.
I think there might be a second career as a weather person. Perhaps.
Oh, don't even get me started about the weather in Middle Tennessee. We do not have this in Southern California. I am a California boy, born and bred, that has been turned into this country freak. I love Tennessee. I knew I would like it here when I moved here. I didn't know I was going to fall madly in love with it. Nobody in Los Angeles can believe that I am the gardener guy. I love to trim the trees. I have a deer feeders and turkey feeders, and I feed animals that aren't mine. I live at Tractor Supply over on Columbia Pike, and I'm on a first name basis with everybody there. And there's no hunting allowed. The sign up over back here says no hunting allowed because we have so many crazy animals on this property.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like your own little backyard zoo, so to speak, right?
Well, the only thing I'm missing is the whole Joe Exotic thing.
Okay, speaking of Joe Exotic, did you know, because I just got a notification, there are Carroll Baskin bobbleheads that will be released in about a month.
What?
Yes. So the Bobblehead Hall of Fame, they put out all the, they are releasing a Carroll Baskin bobblehead.
There's such a thing as the Carroll Baskin bobblehead?
Yes.
I just love it.
So
I know way too much about this show. That's the only thing I didn't know
I'm here to
about.
help.
Yeah, and this guy Jeff, she got Joe Exotic's zoo
Yes.
because apparently, the judge decreed that she got it or won it because he owed her $1 million. Joe Exotic
Right.
owed her $1 million. Tiger King is the name of the show we're talking about. But this is the crazy part. The sheriff it's Florida, right? Where
Right.
she is, the big
Yes.
cat rescue.
Yes.
The sheriff determined, and people have done this before, but the sheriff just validated on national television that the will from her husband, the signatures were forged, but it's been
Yes.
too long. The statute of limitations has run out.
Yeah.
How
So
do I even know that?
I don't know. I heard that too. Interesting. Because why did he wait so long? Because wasn't he the sheriff when initially all that happened as well?
Yes, it's been
So
determined, Donna.
yeah,
It's like, what?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not really sure about that one. Let's talk about your new project. You have a new thing coming up. You and I were together at the Glen Campbell Museum opening,
Yes, we were.
and you were mentioning that you had a new project, but you wouldn't tell me a lot about it yet. But now we can officially talk about it.
If you could see the smile on my face, I'm excited. My face hurts from smiling the whole time. I just actually got off a conference call with a news station that it looks like we're going to be a part of in Ohio. I won't tell you which one yet until I want to make sure we get it dialed in. But it's called Shawn Parr's Across the Country. And when I was on the air, the reason I moved here was to launch a nationally syndicated show. And we were on 160 plus stations across the country. And I would just go to Albuquerque, New Mexico, because I wanted to visit our station there and meet the team. And then I would go to Detroit, Michigan. I'd never been to Albuquerque. I'd never been to Detroit. I just call them up and go, hey, can I come in and meet the team? And so my wife and I were on a plane once, and she goes, technically we're going across the country because we were flying from Nashville to LA to do a charity event for the California Highway Patrol. Then we were going from LA to Atlanta to visit our affiliate there and to buy a car from a Chevy dealership that I was the spokesman for. And then we were going to drive the car, play in a charity golf tournament there, and then drive the car home.
Wow.
So I came up with this idea for a show called Across the Country. So when I left Cumulus, my last company, I said, you know what? I'm going to start this show. And I came up with this idea. I wrote it all out, put everything together, met with this team of guys that sells all the marketing and syndicates the stations, and said, we were at the country radio seminar in February, and they came to me and they said, hey, we hear you have an idea for a new show. We want to be in the business with you. I said, let's do it. So we launched last Monday, Shawn Parr's Across the Country, and we're going to be visiting affiliates. We launched with 16 stations. We have several more that are in the hopper, and we are on the air 24 hours a day. And that's the crazy part.
Wow.
Because we have a station in New Mexico that we're on from midnight to 6. We have a station in Paducah that we're on in the morning. We have several stations that we're on in the middle of the day, a few that we're on in afternoon drive, and then we're on 6 stations at night, including the Country Giant, 94.7 out here in Cookeville.
Wow.
So I can honestly say, I think I'm the only radio DJ or personality,
whichever you prefer,
that is on the air for 24 hours a day. Isn't that the craziest thing?
That's crazy. You must be tired.
Well, I don't do the live show. We do one show. The first radio station plays it, and then it's just repeated throughout the day. But it's so, we've developed this show. It can be played in any day part. And we talk about country music. We talk about, we have artist interviews. We talk about everything that's going on, like the Tiger King, for goodness sakes. And you bet I'll be talking about my new best friend, Donna.
Oh, please. I would be honored. One
Yeah.
of the segments I heard that you're going to have on that show is the new song of the week, or your pick for a new song of the week. So have you picked this week's song yet?
Well, I can't give away this week's song. Yes, I have picked it, is the answer to your question.
Okay,
but last week it was Jake Owen's Made for You. I think it's a song that I think the pick of the week is a song that I think is going to be the next number one. And Jake Owen was kind of a safe pick because he did it last year at Michael Ray and Carly Pierce's wedding. He also did it on The Bachelorette.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've watched fans at Jake's concert. If you've ever been to a Jake Owen concert, I've watched them go crazy for that song. And that was always my favorite off the album, Greetings from Jake. And I just thought, this is the next number one for sure, without a doubt. And he just came off a Homemade, which was his latest number one. And I'm a big fan, but I have to believe in the song, not just the artist. And I believe in this song. And I really think this is going to be his next number one.
I think that's a pretty good choice. Is Kane Brown's new song on your list? Maybe as potentials. It's already hit number one on all genres. So, I mean,
100%. And the day that he released it, we played a part of that song on, we have a segment called This Just In, which is breaking news out of Nashville. We immediately put that song in there because this song is what we all needed to hear, especially right now. And anything with Brad Paisley in it, I'm going to play too, because I think he's been the greatest ambassador for country music during this whole pandemic, during the whole protesting scenario. Brad Paisley, I just yesterday, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, sent a truckload of beer because somebody had told him on his team about a sign that was in a guy's front yard that said, look, we don't care who you are. We don't care what color you are. I want you to come in, sit down, and have a beer, and let's talk about it. And Brad sent a truckload of beer over there and then surprised the whole party with a Zoom. And that's the kind of stuff he's been doing with our frontline workers and all of our men and women that have been taking care of us with the grocery stores and all of our doctors and nurses. He's been on the front lines, as a lot of our country stars have done. But Brad Paisley has got a heart of gold, and he's just done so much.
Yeah, he has. The Zooms have been so fun to watch, where he's like interrupted or joined them. I'm like, and he put out this number, and he says he wants people to like contact him, and I think people are like, is he really going to? But then he does.
He does, right? Leave your number, he'll get back to you, and then like he's singing a song. All of a sudden, you go, well, wait a minute, Brad's not even at home, and he's got his guitar, and he's singing a song? What, does he carry that thing around on his back? Sometimes he does, I guess.
I guess. I don't know.
I love it.
Let's talk about this past weekend was CMA Fest, which we all had to miss because it was canceled. I mean, what was that like? Is this the first one you missed in how many years?
Oh, gosh. I've probably been to 20 some odd CMA Fests over the years. And this one was hard because, for the last 7 years, I've been on stage at the Nissan Stadium, someplace I never dreamed in a million years I would be, introducing our country family. But again, as soon as I can, once I introduce the artist, I'm out in the audience greeting as many fans from around the world as I possibly can. My favorite part ever of a CMA Fest was playing in the City of Hope charity softball game. They didn't have it last year,
right? And
I'm not saying I was the reason we didn't have it last year, but
you were in it the year before. You got injured, right?
I was, I think, the only guy in the last several years to break a bone playing softball in the first inning. But Lindsay Sipe, who is my dear friend, Lindsay posted pictures over the weekend to remind me that I broke my arm running to first base. I'd hit a ground ball to shortstop and thought it got through, but the guy knocked it down. So I thought I'd had to hustle, and I was running, and my hamstring popped right as I got to the bag, and I hit the bag, and I flipped down. They have it on, somebody posted on Twitter, and my arm cracked, but I was more worried about my hamstring and my knee scraped. And next thing you know, they got a paramedic there, and I'm like, look, guys, look, just can you put a bandage or wrap up my knee? I got to go pitch. I pitched 5 innings.
With a broken arm?
With a broken arm. And it just kept getting worse. It was hurting more and more. We put ice on it in between. And the paramedic finally said, dude, your arm doesn't look good at all. And my elbow looked horrible.
Was it turned out or something?
it just got this big baseball on it, and it was obviously cracked. I cracked the radial head in my arm and cracked my wrist, and I went to the. It was adrenaline. There was 10,000 people there. We ended up winning the game 6-5. It was or 7-6 actually. It was 7-6. We played Bobby Bones, who was awesome that day, and Jay Cutler, who played on our team, hit the winning run in for us. And those are the memories that all the people. I stayed around afterwards. We took pictures. I got pictures with people afterwards of me with my arm in ice, and it was magical. It was just magical. But we miss CMA Fest. Hopefully we get to do it next year, because people come from all over the world to celebrate country music in our town. We're so blessed here.
Yeah, it is quite amazing, because like you said, I've met people from all over the world, and every time I'm kind of surprised when someone says, well, I'm here from Australia, and I'm like, really? Here?
Yeah, what? You planned all year for this? 95 degrees and 100% humidity? Are you crazy? Absolutely. That's what it's all about, though. That's part of the experience. That's why Brad Paisley says there's no I in beer.
There you go. It's a great time. I just was thinking about that, and I know that we all kind of miss seeing each other and seeing the fans, which is always a story in itself. The reason how much they love country music in this community, and we get to live here. We live here every day. So
the reason I do radio, the reason I've been blessed enough to do this, it's not a job. It's been my life. And you can tell who it's a job for and who radio is. It's their lifestyle. You have to live it. I've been blessed enough to do this for so many years. Is the listener, the country music fan, the people that call you, that reach out to you on the socials, and that allow you to be part of their family. I can't tell you how much that means to me. Just last night, I got a Facebook picture from Lori Trent 23 years ago. She sent me a picture of a bowling pin that I had signed for her son, Greg.
Oh.
And she said, this was at a charity event you did 23 years ago. And you still, because her son came to Nashville, sent me a note on Facebook. I brought him by the studio and showed him around. And she said, 22 years after you met my son, you still keep in contact with him when he reaches out to you. And I appreciate that. I said, no, I appreciate you. I'm going to get emotional. Oh my God. For allowing me to be part of your family, because this means a lot to me. It's not, nor will it ever be a job.
And that's why we love you, because it's not a job. You just love being a part of all of our lives.
Which is why Oktoberfest or Pumpkin Fest in downtown Franklin and all the wonderful things that we do in our community also means so much, because you get a chance to get out and be part of your community and meet so many wonderful people.
Yeah. Well, I hope you'll come back for Pumpkin Fest. Tell us before we go, what are some of your favorite places in Franklin?
I live at Granite City. So probably 3 days a week, if you go to Granite City, which is next to the Drury Hotel, that's where you'll find me.
Okay.
I have to throw that out there. But I'm always in downtown Franklin, or I'm at the golf course around here somewhere. My last name is Parr, so I thought I better learn how to play golf. But there are so many incredible restaurants. I mean, we have Sperry's, and we have oh my gosh, all the new places that are open up. We have Berry Farms over here, which is, if you want a good Mexican food, they got Tito's over there. And,
oh yeah,
it's always packed there. And my chiropractor's in there. And there's so many blessings in this town. When I found out I was coming to Nashville, my friend Buzz Brainerd from SiriusXM, who does the highway, said, here's where you're going to live. Here's the golf course you're going to join. This is who you're going to play golf with. Here's my real estate agent's number, and the rest is history. Franklin, Tennessee.
Here you are. Man, it's been great to catch up with you and get to see you, since I didn't get to do that during this week for CMA Fest. Tell everybody again where they can find the new show.
Shawn Parr's ATC.com, ShawnParrs ATC.com is where you can find us on the radio, because we have all the stations, what state, what city, and then what time is also posted there. And with a link, you just click on there, and we have all the logos from all of our amazing stations that are running us so far on the website, so you can stream it anywhere, any time of day.
All right. We'll go check it out. Shawn, again, great catching up with you and seeing you. Maybe next time we can do this in person.
Donna, what a blessing. I can't tell you how much it means to be part of the show and be part of your wonderful day today. And thank you for the invite. I really, really appreciate you.
All right. We'll see you soon. You want to take us out? You want to give us one of your announcements, takes us out of the...
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today live right here with the amazing Donna Vissman. Until next time, I'm Shawn Parr.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.